Hey everyone, and welcome. Today, we're going to break down the 6 primary coverages you'll find in pretty much every homeowner's insurance policy. But more importantly, we're going to look at what they actually mean for you right here in Arizona. Let's dive in.
You know, we all love living here in Arizona, but let's be real. It comes with some unique challenges, right? We've got those crazy monsoon winds, hailstorms that just pop up out of nowhere, and of course, that relentless desert heat. So our goal today is simple. We're going to demystify your insurance policy using real-life scenarios you'd actually see here so you know exactly how your coverage is supposed to work when you need it the most.
All right, first up, let's talk about the heart of your policy, protecting the actual physical structures on your property. This really breaks down into 2 main coverages.
So the big one is coverage A, what we call dwelling coverage. Honestly, just think of it as the insurance for the main house itself. It's the whole shebang. The walls, the roof, the floors, everything from the ground up.
Okay, let's paint a picture. A classic Phoenix monsoon hits, and wham! A giant tree limb crashes right through your roof, maybe even messes up the attic framing. It's a nightmare scenario for sure. But this is exactly where your dwelling coverage comes to the rescue, stepping in to help pay for those big structural repairs. Now, here's a pro tip. It's absolutely crucial that your coverage limit matches what it actually costs to rebuild in the Phoenix area today. You don't want to be caught short, and that's something we can help you figure out.
All right, next we have coverage B for other structures. This one's pretty straightforward. It covers stuff on your property that isn't actually attached to your house. You know, things like your detached garage, that workshop out back, your shed, and yeah, even your fence.
So, here's a scenario that's all too real. Imagine one of those wild windstorms we get here in Tempe kicks up and your neighbor's trailer gets loose and just barrels into your backyard. It takes out a chunk of your fence and smashes up your tool shed. Well, that's what other structures coverage is for. It's the hero that helps pay to fix or replace those things. And hey, this is super important if you've got a guest casita or a pool house.
Okay, so your buildings are protected, but what about all the stuff inside? Let's move on to the coverages that protect your belongings and, just as importantly, your lifestyle.
This brings us to coverage C for your personal property. Basically, this is for all your stuff. Your furniture, your TV, your computer, your clothes, you name it. And here's a really cool part. A lot of the time, this coverage follows your stuff even when you take it out of the house.
So, picture this. You're having a nice little staycation in Scottsdale. You come back to your car and, yep, someone's broken in and stolen your laptop and camera. It's just the worst feeling. But your personal property coverage can actually help pay to replace those items. The key thing to remember, though, is to double-check the limits for high-value things. A lot of us in Arizona have nice jewelry or expensive outdoor gear, and you want to make sure that's all properly covered.
Up next is coverage D, or loss of use. And let me tell you, this is one of the most important and honestly most overlooked parts of a homeowner's policy. If something big happens, like a fire, and you can't live in your house, this coverage helps pay for the extra expenses of living somewhere else while it's being fixed.
Let's really think about that. A fire makes your home unlivable for, say, 2 months. What do? Well, loss of use coverage can help pay for a hotel or a short-term rental. It can help cover the extra money you're spending on food because you don't have a kitchen. It can even help with moving and storage costs. Seriously, being forced out of your home in Arizona can get expensive fast, so this coverage is a total lifesaver. Okay, so we've covered your house and your stuff. Now let's switch gears and talk about liability. This part of your policy is all about protecting you and your finances when someone gets hurt on your property.
And this really breaks down into 2 parts: personal liability, or coverage G, and medical payments, which is coverage F. You can think of it like this. Liability is for the big stuff, like a lawsuit. Medical payments is for the small stuff, to take care of minor injuries quickly and hopefully prevent a lawsuit from ever happening. So let's look at a liability scenario. A landscaper is at your place in Mesa, trips on a loose patio paver, and breaks their wrist. Next thing you know, you're being sued for their medical bills and the time they couldn't work. This is exactly what personal liability coverage is built for. It helps pay for those costs and, just as importantly, your legal defense fees. Now for medical payments. Imagine your neighbor's kid is overplaying and cuts their hand on something in the backyard, needs a couple of stitches. Instead of a big drama about whose fault it was, this coverage just steps in and pays for the doctor's visit, no questions asked. It's such a great tool for handling little accidents and just keeping the peace with your neighbors.
All right, we've gone through the 6 main coverages, but it's just as important to talk about what's not covered. You know, the fine print.
Understanding these common gaps is the key to making sure you're truly protected.
And here's a really big one for us in Arizona: flood damage. A standard homeowner's policy almost never covers it. And yes, that includes the flash flooding that happens in our desert washes during a monsoon. That's not a covered peril. Other things to look out for are earthquakes and sewer backups. For these kinds of risks, you usually need to add extra coverage to your policy.
I know. Piecing all of this together can feel a little overwhelming. But that's exactly why having a local partner can make such a huge difference. Because this isn't just about buying a policy, it's about feeling confident that you're actually protected. Look, here at Riseson, we're not some faceless company. We live right here in the valley with you. We get the local risks because we face them too, and since we're an independent agency, we can shop around with different insurance companies to find the right fit for you. For us, it's all about clear communication and building a real relationship, not just selling you something.
Our whole mission is right there in our name. We want to help families, individuals, and business owners rise to a higher level of financial security and ultimately peace of mind. That's truly at the heart of everything we do.
So, after hearing all this, the big question is, are you sure your current policy is really set up to protect your Arizona home and lifestyle? Well, let's find out together. Give us a call here at Riseson Insurance. We'd be happy to review your policy with you. No pressure, no obligation. We're just here to help you feel confident and totally secure.